Alright, welcome back to Plain Explain number 8, it should be. Here we call the 3-bet from our opponent on the button, and he... Alright. Trying to think here if he bets. I think maybe we will shove our hand. Don't expect him to fold too many overpairs though. I think here we're just always forwarding the kings versus opponent. Versus the shove, we just have to fold here. Kinda sucks to be priced out. Don't think we have the odds to call. If you only flop a king, our opponent is really aggressive. He obviously could have hearts. But I think here we'll still go to 10 bigs. Just gonna call here when he starts doing this shit. Of course the hearts get there. But here I think on the river, I don't think there's any merit in block betting. I think we just check. Don't think he calls us with anything when we have two kings in our hand, so I think we might as well check. We got the maximum because of it. That's just something to note, is don't freak out, you have pocket kings. You're just not getting paid from anything there. And there's a decent chance my opponent spazzes out. It feels bad to check, and then when they check back, but... I don't think... I think it's also good to empathize with how you feel on the other side of it. Like, it's way harder to play versus an opponent who traps, right? Usually, like, who has traps in his range. So I think it's important to like, he doesn't just permanently have to bluff catch you. He actually just has some snaps. And he can check jam on you. So it's important to remember you want to be that type of player as well. It's good not to overdo it because some of your hands just perform better as bets. Obviously, it's good to play like a balanced strategy. But they're obviously versus the recreational even. Unless you know it's a player who's not bluffing river. Because then you might as well just shove. Or not shove, maybe block bet. Hope you get called by a 10x. Like, there's some players, you know who they are. They won't bluff river here. But in that line, when he min raises flop, he has to have something, right? Sorry about that. My mic disconnecting. I don't know what that sound is. Think you're over 3-betting the 9s pair. Just grateful he didn't have a flush. I think it's when I turn my head. Alright, here on this board, I think with the double bad suits, I think we play 1/3 to check here. And I think ace queen actually is betting a lot. But I think with the double bad suits, 62 is not high enough for this hand. I could be wrong. We'll look at it. Ace queen is betting a good amount. You're 2 over ace x because you actually get value from ace x here. Though I think when the pair is this high, maybe that logic self-applying. I have to look at this because here you have a lot more equity-driven range than like a raw showdown range. I don't see how you could fold ace queen here though to even a big bet. So we will be calling one. In turn as a 10, I think we can easily lead here. Obviously just a good card for us. I think we can lead 20%. What's 20% here? Sorry, sometimes I'm just slow with the maths. I don't know, I can't, my brain's like completely blowing up right now, so I'm just gonna do 3. It's definitely a little less than 3, right? But yeah, basically all of his draws and bluffs just get absolutely shit on there. So. And we were more weighted. Like, our hand is good enough to bet for value almost. I think here we can do a little bit of both. I think on this low of a number we'll just call the ace-4. It might be too loose, but I don't think you're folding an ace yet. Diamonds. Guess here we're gonna call when we take this long. And just folding river. I think here we're mostly betting. I don't think there's a reason we would ever check. Here multi-way here, I think when it checks through and we have diamonds, we're just going to bet. I don't expect too many players to have a flush. We obviously have the most like uncapped range here, or like one of them. Did I roll 34 here? Okay, we'll let it go. I have to stay disciplined to the rolls. Hopefully I can get down to 4 table. Oh, it looks like we can. This is a pure open though, but we will drop it to 4 and make it look nice. Don't think there's anything we have to be playing here. And here on the river, we can almost block bet our hand. Maybe it performs better as a check. It might just be a good hand to value bet again, funny enough. I'm gonna value bet it. This is maybe too thin. It's probably too thin. Yeah, we probably should go smaller. Maybe block bet makes sense. I feel like he's weighted more to 6x than he has other pairs there. But maybe block would have made sense. It's funny I was thinking of folding. And I don't know if my hand calls a 4-bet here. I think it's a fold. I also think in position people are naturally tighter. This guy will find the right types of hands, but I still think people are a little more tight than they should be. And here I think we just have to call. Could be wrong. He just has top 2. Yeah, what I said here is I think I'm going to fold it. Could be a little nitty there. It's one of the stronger hands we 3-bet, but I think it just performs so bad. And we finally get to close this. Checking range here. I don't know, maybe I have to upgrade my single raise spot line, but I like to just check range if they can have 2 sets. It's kind of the way I play. This guy also is pretty tight. With some exemptions. Oh, I should have opened here. I misread. I was fixing my tables. There really is nothing running on GG. I only have one GG table. Wow. I think when this guy calls, we could actually consider calling. He has been pretty spewy. I'm gonna do it for the video. I think this is probably still losing even with the recreational behind. This is just pure, nothing to think about. Same over here. I think here when he 4-bets us, our hands is sometimes a shove. He folds. Though I do expect people to be 4-betting a little too tight there. So I probably would have just pure called it. This guy's fold to 3-bet is really high, but I think my friend said he has a normal version. Here, I think from these spots you're almost never checking jack high boards. So I think we're just gonna stick to 1/3 with range. I think you can mix half pot. I don't think that hand wants to. I think you need an over to the jack. Obviously you don't want to be too predictable, but yeah. On that board, it seems like 1/3 just plays a little bit better. I could be wrong though. Sizing up could be good. Don't think this hand is ever raising. Could be raising a little bit, but gonna be calling pre. Your opponent, I think, is supposed to be pretty careful on this board and mainly check. But we have nothing to do but fold, I think, for so 1/3 with the ace 8 of hearts. I think he is overdoing it here. It's my personal read. So, learn these spots. I've been studying a good amount of small blind recently. I mean, obviously, you play a betting range, but I know players overdo it, so it's good to learn the big blind response and how to attack. Attack versus GTO 1/3 range, and then maybe extend it by a little bit. I think after that you would just play everything else the same. But just slightly increasing your raising range could be insane. What is going on with this mic? I don't know how to fix it. I think it's my headset disconnecting. You know what, I'll unplug the wire here, and it should stop it for the video. I don't know how much, I think it happens so often I tune it out, but that might be really annoying for the video. I'll rewatch it. If a lot of interesting stuff happens, I might cut out like the middle 10 minutes, show like the pocket king's hand. This guy's Linus, but he's short stacking. It's kind of odd. I accidentally, I think Jeremy is playing, he is open sitting the 5k NL. And the guy's sitting out. I think queen 4 sometimes gets in here, but on that number, I don't think so. I think here we can play a decent raising range. He is supposed to be betting 1/3 a lot. He finds a check here, which is odd. Gonna be checking. Queen. I don't expect to be checking too much king x. On this river, I don't see how we call. I could see him having a pocket pair, but I don't see how we call this river. We also have a good amount of a6 ourselves. We have a decent hand to just go huge, which is kind of funny. Versus this size, I'm tempted to somewhat call sometimes. But I feel like... You know what, just because I also get info on what he's checking back, I'm going to call. He's checking back ace-9 of hearts. Here we're mostly checking this board on a 7. We'll just check pure with the... Or not pure, but we'll check on a 7. Here I think our hand mixes, but I'll open pure versus the short stack. Gonna just be calling here with the 10s. Overpair with the spade. Don't see how you can fold. And here I think we mix again. If we raise, I think we raise 100%. I think we'll call. Something to be said about having 2 lowers that makes me want to... The snap check is pretty good for me, I think. How do you snap check a jack there? It's so frustrating. Gonna be calling again here versus your... We do block bluffs, but we have a 10. Nice. And on the river, it's important to know, after an overbet, a lot of people are reluctant to pull the trigger. I think my hand actually should be a fold versus an overbet, because we block the exact type of hands he's going to be bluffing with sometimes. But I think the 9 would be worse, a hand like 10-9. I think the 8, it's only really blocking 9-8 and like queen 8. King queen I think is basically just folding pure here. I've been 4-betting enough with the king jack suited and king 10 suited there. A6, I learned the other day that ace deuce actually can fold close to pure here. And here we have no choice. This is just an obvious overbetter check spot. And we got the hand that almost never checks on this board. Easy 1/3 with range here on this board. Not too hard to find it. I think versus a raise we have to call this. Snap check. I think our hand's mostly checking. On the queen. I don't think we want ace 6 of hearts here. So we're gonna check. And now like yeah, we're just calling river. Trying to think if I bet 1/3 here or not. I think the answer is no. Here I shouldn't have bet 1/3. Actually, versus a guy 52 VPIP, it could be okay. Gonna be giving up now on the 5, though. It's a bad card for me. Here my hand is 3-betting almost pure. Since you have 7-8 off, I think you just use 7-8 suited as close to pure 3-bet. Here we actually beat all 3x, so I'm gonna be calling river. Oh, he value bet an ace. What a beast. Trying to think here if our hand wants to bet or not. I think when you bet, we bet half pot and some big bet. I think 7-8 actually is a pretty good hand to bet as a merge type thing. Could be wrong, it could be pure checking. Blind versus blind is a little more complex. If he raises me, snap check. I think here now our hand's mostly a check. We pick up no equity. We obviously have good blockers. And I'm going to be checking. I'm trying to think on the river if you want to call. I don't think so. I think here we have to raise. He has some full houses. But he folds. I'm trying to think here if we want to bluff. And I think the answer is no. That's just annoying. I think you want him to have an 8 there, so bluffing an 8 doesn't make sense. It makes some sense to block ace 8 and pocket 8s for 3 streets. But on the river here, you just want him to have an 8, so it doesn't really make any sense to reopen as a bluff at all with this hand. He's pretty he basically doesn't have ace 8 enough at the time for the blocker to be relevant at all. Here we have a huge range advantage. I'm trying to think if our hand wants to bet. I think I just expect the spot to be overfolded, so we will bet it. I think with 0 equity we have to be a bit careful, but we folded some better king X. And I also just expect it to work a lot. I expect this guy to actually maybe not be disciplined enough and see betting like his stronger hands on that board. Not to mention, I'm supposed to be attacking it pretty aggressively. This guy under 3 bets, so ace deuce might become profitable, but this guy's a pretty normal reg, so. But the fact that the small blind's never 3 betting you, basically, especially when you have an ace, because he's so tight, might make this hand a profitable open. I don't know enough about like pre-flop, how equity gets distributed. I think with the fish in the big, we're just playing a big button flatting strategy. I think your ace jack's just never a 3 bet. I think here we're going to be floating. First to 1/3. And I think here there's nothing else to do besides bet. I am kind of maybe overdoing it. It's pretty easy to find traps for him. But I think we still want to bet. I think we have a good amount of broadways. We have the pocket 5s, pocket 9s. Here. I think it's hard to float flop too wide. We obviously want some checkbacks. It's mainly built around some pairs. Maybe we check back the occasional weaker king. But I think generally we want to be pretty aggressive with our kings. I think our checkback range, it's okay to be capped. The river, because on the river we're basically still bluff catching anyway. We don't need a super nutted. It's not like he's going to be able to shove on us on the river. Because we are in position. I'm on the left of Ivers on both tables, which is kind of funny. Don't think this hand ever gets in here. I could be wrong. Not much has happened since the beginning, but these tables are pretty good. Going to tag these players as recreationals. I should probably update my tags. I haven't been tagging in a while. Sorry, I know one gets offended. It's just my opinion. I think here we're mainly calling. This hand is a pure fold. I messed up. I think with the 7, it's okay to call this hand. I could be wrong. The 8 is a good card for me, and actually having the club, I think I'm going to raise this one pure if he bets. And he checks. I think on the river we just have a clear check now. And an easy call. I don't expect this spot to be reopened too often as a bluff. I think you could have like the occasional king jack. First the block bet. Just gonna call. I don't think there is a spot for the block bet. If I'm being honest. I think he should size up. We would have still called him. Also, I don't know how range bet is on this board. It's definitely not a range bet board. Here, I think we could do both, but I don't mind calling just to keep the fish in. If he's trapping, then our hand performs bad anyway, so it's okay that we lose the equity. Gonna call here. Oh, that sucks. So I think our 10 could have played in a lot of scenarios. Like, since we had the direct under it, this is no good. Unless another deuce comes, or an ace. I think here we just check at this depth. There's some other hands, and it's good to protect them. When port comes along, I think we can call. These players might find the squeezes, but I don't mind just playing a hand with this guy. This board playing overbet or check. On a 7, I think we can check back this hand. Like the direct under. King obviously a good card. I think we could just bet half pot. I don't know. I've sold on check, and I'm gonna be calling over here, even though I expect it not to be too bluffed. I think deuces here mostly calling. King 9 here, I don't think ever. Oh. I think it just never does, unfortunately. He sized so low that I think we could consider it. You know what, for the memes, we rolled a 100. Nope. I think here we're going to be mainly raising our hand. On this board, I actually don't mind floating, because we block queen 9 and king 9. I think here now we just check. I'm just going to call and then bluff on later streets if he checks. I think here if we have a queen, I don't mind just down betting. And I'm gonna bet the river big. This is a complete whale hand. Worked out. I expect that spot just to perform well. I think people just assume you're calling too tight. Wow, I got the absolute maximum versus river boat there. It's absurd. That's absurd. I think this hand almost 3-betting pure. I think we size a little up here, but we're like basically 150 deep. And here, I think we will bet our hand. I think we'll just go 1/3 with this type of trash. I think here you actually have to be careful and build the checking range, but with no equity, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it also just bets. I think also the deeper you go, the more we are. I think here nothing else to do but just call. We have a really good candidate to turn into a bluff here. I think here we're gonna shove our hand. Ugh. Oh, we won one. I'm gonna be folding over here. I think you're just blocking pocket jacks and king jack, which are the main like insane hands. Obviously, it sometimes has aces and ace king, but I don't. Yeah, I don't mind the shove. I think spades is a way better hand than diamonds here. Could be wrong. We'll look at that later. Wish my opponent folded, but he did not. We ended up winning. One. We had a decent amount of equity, obviously. Here, I don't know if I'm really supposed to check. I think here on this river, I'm gonna go for the overbet. think an ace would mix a check. I don't like check raising with a king, so I think it just performs better as an overbet. Ace 10 off here, I think mainly going to be a fold. I think here we're just going to be calling ace jack, never 3-betting it, or yeah, I think on a really high number you can. Consider snap 1/3 here. This is not a range bet board, and judging by the pace my opponent's betting at. But I still don't think actually I think our hand could consider raising. But I think mainly it's not going to be, I think it's mainly going to be a call. And I like reopening this hand. I'm trying to think if we want to overbet it or just normal bet. And I like the way normal bet performs with this hand, so we're going to normal bet here. I think here our hand actually can get in here as a cold 4. So we're going to do it. I just felt like it. We rolled a decent number. And on this river, just 36 is going to be the size. I expect him to find maybe too many calls, but 5-4 does open here. And I think here we're going to play overbet. Got one through. Solid spot. Just a little Sunrunner. Can't believe the opponent called off aces there. I think you'd rather call ace king than aces. I think aces could consider folding, especially with the diamond. Okay, here we're just waiting until we don't. I don't like playing heads up, so we're just gonna wait till we don't get a hand. Queen 9 here. I don't know if it gets in here. I think it's mainly a call. I think you get the worst. I think it's too good. If he bets 1/3 here, like this guy's just overdoing it. We keep not getting raises though. Yeah, he has a big leak in his game actually. I think blind versus blind. I'm not gonna. He plays 10k. He played 10k now in global, but unless this is obviously just a small sample. But constant 1/3 on these boards is just, it's so incorrect. I think like it's just really oversimplifying. I should be talking about a leak he might have. I think here I'm going to bet big. I think it just performs well. I think we could even consider overbet. Actually, as our main size. I actually expect it to perform kind of well. But this might be too thin. I think he might think I'm overbluffing this spot, and I'm going really, really thin. So this is my strategy here. I don't know. Maybe I'm leveling myself. This hand is never an overbet. This is an exploit. He called way too wide there, I think, on turn. I think you're never folding a pair heads up. Reopening here to big bet is kind of weird, but versus recreational, I think it's fine. We obviously have flush. We have some 7x. When he's taking this long, I don't expect him to have a 7. He could be considered raising it or not. Okay. No decision to do here. I think here 10-6 is probably an open, but whatever. Is there any 5 running? No. We'll get a table of stars 200 going. There is a 500 running. It's Greenway sitting riverboat, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why the heads up specialist is just sitting people. Like if he wants to play heads up, why doesn't he just play everyone? I don't really understand that. That's the thing about heads up. Like people just don't play people better than them. It's just kind of like, like you just log on and bum hunt like all the time. Like 6 max you can bum hunt and you can still get enough action going. Like okay, like if you don't want to sit a full reg game, you can still be playing other tables. If you're a heads up guy, aren't you supposed to just play people? I don't know. And I don't think Riverboat is like he made like he makes mistakes heads up. Like he's not some solver. Like obviously he might be decent at it, but if heads up's your main game, you should be able to beat a guy who doesn't mainly play heads up. Like I don't know. Maybe Riverboat's better than I think at heads up, but he's not sitting the 5K even though I've seen him doing it right now versus Jarrett Man. So and I know Jarrett Man's not a heads up player or like heads up specialist. Here I think our hand is just a pure fold. I probably should make a video just talking about how much this guy bets 1/3 of the big. I guess the reason I talk about him so much is I actually have a good amount of respect for his game. Like he's tagged the Solid Theory reg, so obviously he's the highest tag possible. So I'm looking mainly for more mistakes in his game than I am compared to other players. I do think the small blind having as high of a C bet frequency he does is like a drastic mistake in his game. I'm actually gonna look. I'm gonna study more big blind versus 1/3 today because it's motivated me to exploit people who are just drastically overdoing it in the blind versus blind. I played the board here. I think he does too. Here with the fish, 6-5 could become profitable, but he's not deep enough. Thank God, didn't regret it. This is a 200 table down here. If I change the color, it changes all of them. Okay, no it doesn't. But I should have done it for like, what, blue? Blue is 200. I think here we can play flats with the recreational. I'm gonna call here. I don't know why its HUD stats just went away. Oh my. Worried about Roger, but it's really hard for Roger to have a hand that beats me unless he has Jack 8. Some Queen 10 might be in there. Going to overbet the river. I think it's hard to fold an ace here. If I get ripped on, I know I'm never good. If he calls, I think I might not be good a good amount of the time. Kinda sucks. I was thinking of leading on the 8. I think it could have performed pretty good. It's hard for this guy to fold an ace. If he has one. He might have been bluffing, judging by the speed he folded. I think here I still am going to a cold for this hand. I'm not gonna fold it. I think he might be 3-betting the recreational wide. I mean, he is tighter, but here versus this player, we will. He is full to see, but it's actually so low. We should probably not be range betting. Gonna be checking here, and I actually might bluff catch river. Need a 7. I would have called him. But the more I thought about it, it's like I guess if he's not value betting a 7 there, then it's very good to call him because he's floating so wide. And then if he's not value betting a 7, we don't lose to enough hands. First screen right here, we could actually just incorporate cold shoves in our range, but I think we are going to just go to 19 and probably call off 2K hands. I think our hand actually might be a fold versus shove. I think it's a fold. Now here I'm throwing nothing on this board. I think you play half pot and a quarter. The ace of hearts motivates me to be a bit more passive. I don't think we're checking on this board, so I think we're just gonna go 9.5. Might not be a board. Actually, maybe we do play a checking range on this board. I could see this hand checking. I don't mind it. Now I think having a heart is good. But I could be wrong. I think I'm going to bet half pot here. And evaluate river. Get the folds. They don't want the smoke. That's what I'm learning today. They don't want the smoke. I can agree on that. Here having the heart is good because most of his calling range is going to be suited ace-x. Obviously the king isn't necessarily good. Gonna be calling here. Queen's a heart, so it does us no good. Nice. That's 200 to know, so it's not as much. Good to get a stack. Been recording 36 minutes. I'll record 9 more. Probably just post a video. Let me know, by the way, if anyone wants me to do a review of any of these sessions. Like, if you just let me know in the comments, I'll do one. I'm not gonna do one for every video, just because I don't think many people care to watch all of them. But if people start to like them, I'll do a review of all the hands that people like. If you just want to know about one hand, just type it in the comments and I'll respond. Yeah. Because I am by no means close to a perfect player. I'm trying to get better every day. I think I make a lot of mistakes. I'm trying to narrow those down. Some of them are just exploits, to be honest. And maybe my exploit game isn't perfect, but I don't really care for it because I think that just comes with experience. I don't have too much of that. Like, I've been playing poker for a year and a half now. Seriously, for like a year. Maybe even less. But yeah. I'm going to be checking this board, I guess, from the ISO, but I think checking versus the fish could be pretty good. King Jack here, I think, becomes a low frequency bluff on this number. And then Jack 8 here will be a bluff on this number. Gonna be checking here. I think here we're mainly checking back this board. He could play some leads. I think we're going to check back. I think here you could actually, okay, on a 100. I think when it bets half pot. It could bet smaller. I don't mind betting big here. It is like a very low board. I'm gonna have to take a look at that one for sure. Here on this river, I'm trying to think if I bluff or not. I think the answer is I meant value bet or not. I think the answer is we just value bet this hand. I think here we can. I don't think we get too much bluff equity on the river. I could be wrong actually. We're gonna check. I don't think we get paid too much, and we're gonna call. If he has Jack, he has Jack. He might have some Jack X in his bluffing range, but nice. I should probably move my mic further. I might be being pretty obnoxious. This pool has been really fun to play. I really like playing versus this guy, and I've been on his left on both tables. I think here we're going to be opening pure with the recreational. This hand should mix from the cutoff. Granted, it's opening most of the time. Alright, let's hit a deuce and make 200 bucks here. Jack 5 here, I think, is just folding pure. Oh, 3 of clubs. Just be a deuce of clubs. Trying to think here if we ever call the c-bet. I think we actually should call most of the time. I expect this range to miss this enough. We have a diamond. I think we're winning 0% of the time now. Snap check. I still think that means he has to have something. I think if he has a bluff here, he would stutter on the king, and I don't think he has anything that's going to be folding. Like, I expect him to have a lot of queen x here. Yeah, I don't think he folds queen x here. That's my read into the snap check there. If you have a hand like ace jack, you're not snap checking. Going to be opening the ace 6 pure. all suited ace-x from the hijack is pure. I think jack 10 mostly 3-betting here, so I don't mind attacking this player. Ace-6 I think is just a pure fold though. I think here I should just size down to 13, actually. Wow, on this board I think we have to be careful, and I think this hand just, I think it's just a perfect check. I will look at it, but I'm gonna be just checking range, or like this hand pure. Like we have a lot less of the sets than he does. A lot less of like the hands that hit this board. Going to just be calling. Alright, just plays great as a call. Gonna check turn. You could have some queen and some 7x. Obviously we're not gonna fold turn because we have boat outs. If he goes 36 bigs, it's kind of. I'm trying to think now if we shove, and I think we shouldn't. We obviously have ace king he doesn't have. I think we have a good hand to bet though. How much king x does he really have? I don't like shoving. But yeah, I'm gonna bet. I think a lot of his check back range actually does have a jack and a 10, so I think this might be one of the worst hands to bet, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. So here I bet 1/3. I just kind of snapped at it. He raised. Our hand is supposed to call. I think our hand actually can be a 3-bet here. This might be kind of spewing. I'm just gonna call here. I think it could be a 3-bet though, actually. Snap check back, and here I think we still have a check. Expect him to get there a lot, but I don't think the 9 is just bad. So we're gonna check here. Poof, good thing we didn't 3-bet flop. I love using the horseshoe. I like the GG emotes the best, those are my favorite. And anyway, I'm gonna be wrapping it up in a sec. How long have I been playing for? Okay, I'm gonna filter my session to not including heads up, because we obviously, I lost like 200 at the heads up before I started recording. Session details. Ace-4 just folding pure. I think this hand is mostly a 3-bet. On this number, we'll call it. Going to check. If he 1/3, we will re-raise him. Gonna be defending 10-8 versus the recreational. And gonna be raising this board. I think we could even raise to 100%. I'm trying to think if we ever play 50% raises on this board. But yeah. Maybe 100's better. Hand details. Where's player position? No, sorry. Number of players, I got it. I don't know why I couldn't find it. Min-raise versus the fish, but this hand's just too weak. Wait, I messed up my filter. 7's gonna be opening pure from under the gun. Sorry guys, I'm trying to look at my stars thing. I run every video for about 45 minutes. Let me know about the video length. Would you rather me just post more 20-minute videos where like I would only upload 20 minutes where things happened, or the longer 45 minutes? Basically, any criticisms I'm willing to. I just like posting my sessions because I like recording them because it forces me to, I think, play better. It's also more rewarding for me to play better, I think. I like playing well and recording it. Jack 9 here, I think. We're just gonna mainly be folding versus the 2.5. And here I think you want to almost 3-bet this hand pure when someone comes along, and I think you size down to 11. Could be wrong here when there's 2 callers because you actually get way more aggressive. The queen jack becomes like pure, for example, where it's like almost never doing it. Just because you get the extra EV of this guy almost having no hands that can call. Here I think on this board we have to be really careful. And I can't see this hand ever betting. Actually, I think it could bet sometimes. It's such a high number. But I think mainly it's going to just be a check. I'm just going to check it this time. I will look. On an 87, it wouldn't shock me if it bets. Having direct 2 overs to the 9s is good. I think its worst overpairs are jacks and 10s. So the more I think about it, I think it should bet sometimes. I think here we still have a clear check. I mean, we want some hands that can maybe... But I'm going to check it. I'm gonna fold here now. Just a pure give up spot, basically. I'm pretty aggressive, so I have to find the pure give ups enough. Otherwise, I think people can just exploit me by playing very passive and just calling me down. I think here I'm just going to be calling actually the recreational. So here I 3-bet this hand, range bet, right? I've been kind of checked out. I think on the king we just have a clear big bet though. We might have to just triple this one. I think not having a heart here. Having clubs is kind of but how often does he really have a king? And on the river here, just going to bet big, even though it is a recreational. You kind of block some of the folds, but I don't think he has jacks and 9s anymore. I think we just have to go for it. Having a jack is not too good. I think you want him to have like a hand like jack 10 of clubs. This could be a give up, but I expect this to form decent enough. Not having a heart is pretty key. Oof. They've been getting through. I feel like I've been, for some reason, just dealt a lot of bluffs. I don't think my hand is necessarily a pure open. I meant pure 3-bet from that spot. So maybe I was too autopilot, I was doing something else. But anyway, after that, okay, here I'm going to be folding. This is not even a pure open. Alright, with that note, I'm going to be calling the session. We made 1100 here. And we had a winning red line on the session. I think it was a pretty good red line. Yeah, I think a pretty good red line this session too. We made a little more. I think we're up on GG. Could be wrong. I can check briefly. Oh no, GG we literally like went almost dead break even with rakeback. So yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and let me know what I can do better.